with all that being known, talk to me about wrestling. All right, let's transition because this is one of the interesting things because I just got back in the gym and I gotta say, seeing you in person, a lot of people they can't grasp and understand it. You're not the largest person, but you got a great frame to yourself. And
appreciate it.
And, yeah, absolutely, man. And so wrestling was always something that you talked about, even having some performances in like the CEO. Why don't you talk to me about that, man?
I've always been a fan, and I saw myself, I'm like a showman, right? So if you think about wrestling, my favorite part about wrestling is the entrances, the crowd, you know what I'm saying? Like talking on the mic, not necessarily the wrestling, right? And I learned that from getting in the ring, right? So it's easy to talk about it, like, I'm gonna be a wrestler one day, right? And so you get in the ring and they beat your ass, and you're like, oh, this might not be for me. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why I'm not necessarily doing it currently is because I really want to be there for my boys. You know what I'm saying? And if I go in there and get hurt, get paralyzed or something like that, I can't throw them around anymore. You know what I'm saying? Or if I'm walking around with a cane at like 50 years old, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to make it like a selfish thing and say it's a sacrifice for the kids, but at the same time, for me, it's a smart decision. I could go to the gym, look good. I could be active. I could play ball. I could do all of that. And I could do like a martial art and wrestle, like jiu-jitsu or something like that. I don't necessarily have to be in the ring, you know what I'm saying, to partake in that. You know what I mean? But like, even just hitting the ropes hurt because the ropes is like chain, it's like chain link wrapped with tape. So it's not an actual rope. So you're hitting metal every time you bounce off that shit. So you go in, every time you go in, you lose a little bit of yourself coming out. You know what I'm saying? So like jumping off the top rope, I hit, the turnbuckle. Somebody threw me to the turnbuckle and I hit it wrong. So now I'm scarred for the rest of my life on my back from hitting it wrong, just from training. It wasn't in front of nobody. We was just training, and now my shit is scarred for the rest of my life. So, and then I was watching a lot of my favorite wrestlers. Like there's a guy named Kenny Omega. He's real big into the FGC and stuff like that. And like, getting to know like people who know him, they tell you like his knees is bad, his elbows are bad, his back is bad. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to go through a life where my back is bad and I can't throw nobody up. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I chuck my kids. Like we be in the pool and I chuck them. And I can't do that. It's not. I feel like I'm not dad. You know what I'm saying? So I just made the choice to not do it, but I'm still a big fan. And I work out like if I'm a wrestler, but
Okay, that's dope, man. I mean, so like, how did you come up with the idea to kind of fuse gaming and wrestling, like the whole CEO thing with the entrance?
So that's a Jabali thing. Okay. He came up with the idea for the wrestling mix. Okay. Where I come in is he was asking around. Like I didn't know Jabali, but he knew of me. You know what I'm saying? Like we knew of each other, but we never met. He was asking around like, yo, I need like an MC for Street Fighter and stuff like that, or like just an MC in general. And one of my boys named Clark, shout out to Clark if you see this, he was like, oh, like what about Dayasha? And he knew of me because of the YouTube thing. So he was like, we don't have nobody, so I'm gonna just go grab him. So when he grabbed me, next thing you know, I'm like the best MC he's ever seen in his life. And he's like, yo, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, yo, I feel like I've been built for this. You know what I'm saying? Because I love showing out and showing off. You give me a mic, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Jabali, bro, because he gave me I actually have a CEO belt. He gave it to me because he's like, yo, you the best MC I've ever had. That's so dope. Here's a belt. And I was like,
What's up?
Oh, yeah.
So check it out, man. You were on a TV show before.
I was,
Bro, let's talk about that shit, man. I mean, you were on actual TV.
Yeah, like live broadcast TV. Yep. Nationwide,
Talk about that.
It's funny how that ended up because Matt Titan was telling me about it. That's my brother. And,
how's he doing? Is he in Florida?
Yeah, he's here. He's like 10 minutes away from me. He's probably at work though. But he was telling me about it. He was like, yo, they're doing like this like E-League show. Like everybody knew what E-League was because it's like, esports or whatever. They're doing this E-League show for Street Fighter, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna apply for it. And I was like, I would, but like, I'm not gonna do that. And he was like, nah, you should apply for it. And then I was like, maybe I will. Few days later, I applied for it. And I sent like, everything I do, I give 110%. So I sent like this long email. I had like photos and videos, descriptions of myself, like accolades, like everything, shit that you can track, right? This long ass email, and they responded to me in like an hour and was like, yo, we need to talk to you. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, we could talk. So I remember I was trying to be on, you probably remember this. There was a show called The Tester.
Right.
In like 2010, I want to say, or some shit like that.
I remember.
And I was like in the lead, like, cause you had to vote, right? But when they talked to me, they was like, nah. Like, nah, you're not a good fit. So I took that and was like, well, if they talk to me, I'm gonna just be myself. Cause I was real fake in front of that camera, you know what I'm saying? Cause one of the things, it was a PlayStation thing, and I don't have a lot of PlayStation trophies, you know what I'm saying? So how do you fake your way out of why you don't have a lot of trophies, right? So, but I was like, I'm gonna just be myself. I'm not the best Street Fighter player in the world, but I bet you'll love me if you get me in front of this camera. So they called me, and it was like a hour-long interview. And I just was like, yeah, I do this, I did that, blah, blah, blah. And they would ask me questions, and I would answer it. And they was like, yo, like, I love you. I need to get somebody else to talk to you. So they got somebody else to talk to me. And then I kept, this is me,
Right.
Yo, we got to get somebody else. Like, I just kept going up the ladder.
Okay.
And then they was like, yeah, we going to put you on the show.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, all right, well, shit. And
so
then
at the time, were you aware of what the show was going to be exactly?
Nah, because they kept it real like hush hush.
Okay.
And even as I was going up the ladder, I just knew it was a Street Fighter thing. But me at the time, I was like a real pessimist because like I was going through shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's probably gonna be some bullshit, and I gotta compete on like a tournament stage or some shit like that. It's probably something stupid, right? So I show up to this $1.7 million house, right? Cameras everywhere and shit. And I was like, oh, like this is a show. Like this is a show. And they sent like a whole camera crew to my apartment and was like filming me with the kids and like filming me playing Street Fighter, like all of that. They filmed me wrestling. Damn. They filmed me doing so much shit. A lot of that you don't get to see because I didn't win. If I'd have won, you'd have seen it.
For sure.
But yeah, and then, they paid for my whole flight. They paid for my hotel. They paid for everything. And then I showed up and they was like, yeah, welcome. And then so they put us in this like van with like blacked out windows. It was crazy. But there was mics and cameras all in the van and shit. And that's where I met Low Tier God and Guilty and Rob TV and shit. And then, we get in this van and they're like, all right, we're going to take you to this place. And then we're going to let you out one by one so y'all can see the reaction or whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. And then they let me out. And then I go inside the house and I'm like, damn, because I've never been in a house that big. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy.
Where was it at? Like what state?
In Georgia.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was right in Georgia. And yeah, so I'm walking around the house and shit, and there's literally teams of people following you around with a camera, and you have to try your hardest to not look at it. You know what I'm saying? So it was wild. It was definitely an experience. Like there was a whole like elimination room, like a room, and it's a corridor, right? So when you walk in, there's like a hallway corridor that you can see, right? It's like a banister, and when you go upstairs, you just walk through that banister, and then when you get through this curtain, it's this whole like elimination room. Yo, that shit was fire. That shit was fire.
So I mean, like, was it set up like a tournament, or was it just like a?
It was like a reality TV. Okay. Yeah, it's like reality TV. There was like a mini tournament because like you did have to play to win. Gotcha. But the goal was to play to win to play in a tournament, which I had no interest in, and I don't think they had an interest in that either because they knew I wasn't gonna win. I gotcha. They picked me to be like the offset to like Low Tier God, the proud father, the regular dude. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that everybody in America knows, like, if this regular ass dude with a job can get on this show, anybody can sort of do it. You see what I'm saying? So that was my role in the show. So I don't think anybody thought I was gonna win. But if I did, that would have been dope. But nobody thought I was gonna win that shit.
I mean, so how much of reality TV was it in reality though?
Like, it was all. The only time it wasn't was like if it was like a flat moment, you know what I'm saying? Like let's say nothing's happening. So for example, when I would cook, I didn't wash any dishes, right? So I would cook all the food in the house, right? Gotcha. Because I was like the dad of the house, so I would cook everything, and then they had to clean up the kitchen. So there was a scene where like, and it's in the show, there's a scene where Low Tier God is like, yo, like y'all just sitting here, you know what I'm saying, not cleaning up or whatever, y'all gotta clean the house. And I'm sitting on the couch and they knew this was gonna get a rise out of me because of our like reactions or whatever. So they told him to come talk to us. And when he was like, yo, y'all not cleaning up, y'all just sitting here playing games, you see me start to tense up I'm not getting up to do nothing, you know what I'm saying? But
you just cooked all the shit.
Yeah, right? So then he unplugs the controller from, well, I wasn't playing, but he unplugs the controller and he makes everybody get up and clean, except for me.
Right.
and then they get up and do that. But that wouldn't have happened if they didn't like nudge him to do it.
I see.
So most of it is reality. Like what you saw was real.
Yeah.
But some of it.
Some of they push.
Yeah.
A little bit,
So
but
like
they're not just writing fucking.
No. There's no scripts. I can't do a script.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't.
Okay. That's dope, man. Would you ever do that again?
Hell yeah.
You would?
Yeah, that was fun as hell.
Okay.
As long as it's like reality. If you're not staging shit, then cool.
Over
but like,
the course of what time frame were you gone to Georgia to do that?
I think I was gone like 2 weeks.
2 weeks straight?
2 weeks straight, yeah.
Okay.
Like just straight.
Was that any kind of a burden on your life at that current time?
Nah, because it was one of those things where I kind of worked toward,
I got you.
like, doing the YouTube and shit like that, finally getting on TV.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was like a culmination of like my hard work, traveling and going, 2-2 at a tournament, wasting all my money. But, it all like worked because people knew who I was. Yeah. So when they started making calls around and stuff like that, nobody had anything really negative to say about me. So that's why they was like, yeah, we're gonna pull a trigger on this guy.
Do you feel like you got the level of success you needed to get from that?
No. I would say out of the, how many people was on that show? 8, 7? Out of those people, I would say I'm probably like second to last least successful from everybody in that came from that.
Gotcha.
And the reason why is because people watched it for Street Fighter V, right? You didn't watch it for like adult stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like real man stuff. You watched it for Street Fighter V. So if you're still playing Street Fighter V at a high level, then they're watching you. Whereas me, once I left that house, I stopped playing. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't playing even leading up to the house. You see what I'm saying? I stopped playing in season 1. I think the last tournament I was at, I got like, it was either second or third.
Okay.
And then they switched to season 2, and then they like nerfed Chun, and then I was just sick of the games. I didn't really like it.
For sure.
And she carried me. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, Chun was number 1 in the game. You know what I'm saying? So I was smoking everywhere. So once they like nerfed her and all that shit, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put it down. But then they brought me to the show in season 3. So there's a lot that I missed. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, yo, fuck this game. I just cannot stand this game. So when I left, I just stopped playing altogether.
Okay.
Yeah.
So check it out, man.